Now let's go ahead and get into the thing. So breaking, a prisoner who filed a $100 million lawsuit against Sean Puffy Combs has had his award overturned by the Michigan judge, as I told y'all it would. Okay, I told y'all that they would overturn it. And it feels as if the judge just did the default judgment because, oh, you want to act like you don't need to show up? But let's go and listen, because the man was told, hold up. So I don't know, this is not the same man, but this man looks like the last man. And this man said 3 years, this is what Gossip in the City said, 3 years before Cassie lawsuit was filed or even made public, this man said he was a slave for Diddy and caught an STD from having sex with them. Now, here's the thing. This same man, hold up, whose lawsuit just got overturned, said the same thing. And everybody was like, he lying. And the only reason, we think he lying is because of the way they set up his whole situation. But this is what everybody needs to think about with this whole situation. This is how it's actually going down. And I need you to envision this in your mind like a movie. Okay? You have the famous man. He gets into relationships by love bombing and being very charismatic and offering all of these different, opportunities to people. Right? Gets them in really good. Oh, Puff's a good guy. He's a great guy. You know what I'm saying? Then y'all go to a party, y'all having a good time. Shit feel a little weird. He staring a little hard, putting his arm around your shoulder a little bit too much. But everybody drinking and drugging, everybody having a good time. It's not a big deal. He asks you if you want to stick around for the later party. You say, okay, cool. Because you like him. So if you want to fuck him, you're like, okay. Right? Okay, cool. Y'all start making out. And then all of a sudden, he backs away from you and starts to instruct you. And at first, you cool with this shit. But then some man that looks like this nigga, who's a paid prostitute, or somebody that's being paid to prostitute themselves, okay, walks in. And Diddy is like, yeah, you gonna let him do this, 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 and this. And the woman is like, hold up, I just came to dance for y'all, right? No, that's not what I want. And Diddy like, well, where you gonna go? What you gonna do? And then the drugs he gave you earlier that had not necessarily kicked in all the way yet have now kicked in. And everything getting all blurry. And all of a sudden, now you don't really have no control of this situation. Now you all oiled up, assed out, and some weird nigga with a square like hairline, and real broad fucking forehead muscles is standing on top of you, banging with grease all over himself, and you want it to stop, but you don't have no power, and Diddy is sitting over there in the corner. And just when you think it's about to be over, somebody comes in and gives you some water, and that water has even more drugs in it, but now some uppers in it. And Diddy says, I got some shit to do, but I want y'all to stay, and I want y'all to keep doing this until I tell y'all to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. He got his security guards and other people that's there to make sure y'all keep doing it. Y'all thinking he didn't left, maybe y'all can stop. Then you turn around and hear a loudspeaker in the room saying, didn't I tell y'all motherfuckers not to stop? Oh, yeah, I can see y'all, because he's watching y'all from cameras that's connected to his cell phone. So he might be on set somewhere acting like a nice guy, and every now and again opening his phone so he can make sure that you still getting fucked by this squarehead nigga. Can't stop, won't stop. That's not fun, y'all. People are being forced to continue to have sex. Even prostitutes want to be able to say, all right, that's enough, nigga, damn. This was going on for days. I was not there, but I read what happened. I read what happened. And I've seen enough movies and enough TV shows and read enough books to know how crazy motherfuckers are. And I don't know if y'all have ever seen Saw, but this is like Saw, but with sex. I'm gonna put y'all into a room and I'm gonna make y'all do what I want y'all to do. And then, yeah, he's taping the whole thing. So after he finished taping it, and you think the horrifying shit is over, he tells you, if you ever say anything to anybody, this right here is going to get sent to your kids' elementary school. bitch. This gonna get sent to your government job. This gonna get sent to a newspaper. This gonna get sent, you know what I'm saying? To whoever you really don't want to see that shit, that's who he gonna send it to. And so now you traumatized, assaulted by a billionaire who has footage on you. What you gonna do? You gonna go sit the fuck down and be quiet. And then just when the shit is dying down and you thinking you can move on with your life, you get a call one day. And you know it's him, so you ignore it. But then he calls you 50 fucking times until you answer the phone. And then he says, I got some work for you. And you might be struggling right now. And you know that him harassing you means that if you don't show up, you might be in trouble. So you go. And you record some shit with him. Because you don't have a choice. That's what Diddy has been doing to people. That is not the same thing as partying. That's not the same thing as having a good time with people. It's not the same thing. And yes, of course, I remember Stevie J and Eve. She looked very drugged up. They were in a limo. And I feel like you could almost see that she couldn't tell she was being recorded. And I just started to read Eve's book. So I just started it. But I think that I am wondering if at any point something was asked of Eve and Eve said no, and Stevie J was told to release that video because Stevie J's connection to Diddy and the way Diddy likes to have access to famous women that he wants. Like, this is all conjecture. But I have to wonder if the reason why Eve's sex tape even came out was because she told somebody no. I'm just saying. Because even back then, think about it, y'all. It was a VHS tape. Like, it was dark video in the back of a limo. I remember the video. So I'm telling y'all, now that I'm looking back on it, I think it's called Who's That Girl? Or Who's Eve? Who's That Girl? Now that I'm thinking back on that shit, I am definitely, because you know, Eve was able to move around in the industry in a way that I feel like showed that she wasn't really attached to them niggas in the same way. Like her being able to move on, do TV, like the other type of stuff that she was doing. And I also think Rough Riders like created a protection for her. One part that I did hear about, she said she talked about when she first met Maze. And you know how he championed her. She was a stripper. Maze was like, you need to rap, right? So years later, she gets signed by Rough Riders and they see each other at a party. And I believe it was a Diddy party of some sort. And Maze goes over to her and asks who she signed with. And I feel like it was the thing that came to my head was like, it was almost like Maze was like, you didn't sign with Diddy, did you? Like that's what when he came over and asked who she signed with. Signing with Rough Riders meant a lot of protection for Eve. But I also feel like in order to be able to move around the way Eve did, like there was that sex tape coming out early on probably was the best thing. Like, I'm gonna let that shit come out. Y'all ain't about to catch me up. Yeah, put that shit out. Because then remember, her and Stevie J was pretending like they was married and everything. And then all of that shit came out right around the time that they broke up. And Eve took that shit personal. There was some records about that nigga. You had me, you lost me, and now you want me back. Do y'all really think I'm talking about Frankie Beverly and Maze? Is that who y'all think I'm talking about? Y'all don't think I'm talking about Maze the rapper? Y'all say Mace. I don't say Mace. I say Maze. That's how I pronounce it. Okay. Either way, the way he asked her who signed her, it made me feel like he might have been a little bit worried about her and was glad that it was DMX and the Rough Riders. Okay. That she had signed to. This man lost out on his money, but this man right here, like that man, has a story to tell. Let's listen.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati. Okay. And it's the black people. Okay, I'm from Africa, so I'm not a racist. Okay, you my brother, so I like black people. Okay, my mom, I was raised by an African woman in my house. Okay, she was just a servant, but she was my she, took care of me. Right. So I love black people. Okay. I had settlement with Sean. Okay, and he belongs to that agenda. That's why he's so famous. They land all the contracts. It's his attorneys, which are Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes. Ben Mercedes worked for Bad Boy Entertainment for 4 years and worked for Hillary Rodman for 5. Okay? When I take Sean the threat of death on me, okay? I don't have it, but I can make it available under secrecy. That means that I wouldn't be liable because I don't want to be getting framed for anything. Okay. Right. I had sex with Cassie and Shyne. Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business because what they would do is Shyne talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with people and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. Okay, for them that's what I was. That's all. All right. I caught herpes, and I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But they did. Mark Garagos and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys, okay? And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so. They gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible I threw everything out. It's possible I can produce a copy. Gotcha. It's possible. I'm not sure. Now, how does this lead towards our... Whatever you call yourself these days. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, he's part of what's called the BALI. The BALI is a branch of the Illuminati. Okay. It's the black people. Wow.
Okay. So this man said this shit apparently, allegedly, 3 years ago. Before Cassie's story even came out. And you would look at him and you would call him a liar, right? You would say, man, why would Diddy mess with you? Why would he want to see you? And then you see this man. And this man said something similar. He said he was also used like, like assaulted, like drugged and assaulted. So now I have to wonder if this man is telling the truth. Because the other dude looks like him. There's a similarity, you know what I'm saying, in the physicality. And I want everybody to remember the main thing that Diddy asked of the male prostitutes that he ordered. Not that they be pretty, but that they have BBCs. BBCs, which means big old wankers. Okay? Uh-huh. Don't know nothing that's going on. So of course this man shit got turned over. But whew, child, listen. Let's read some more about what they said, okay? Because there's so many pieces to all of this, all right? In a long list of reasons used in the argument not to give Diddy bail, Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Johnson says actions and events surrounding 15 years of freak-offs show that he can't be trusted. Johnson shared that documentation of the sex events date back to 2009 up to the present year. Now, you remember that video I showed y'all yesterday of Kevin Hart at that party? That was 2009, I think. As previously reported, there were drugs provided, more specifically ketamine and GHB. That's ketamine and GHB, I believe, they're used to make sex not as painful, to make the anal sex not painful. And then you do like Molly or something that's like a sensational type drug to then make you sensitive sexually, but then also not be able to, like, I guess, fully feel the pain as things are happening. And also, GHB and all of that, that's a date rape drug, y'all. That's to like make people incoherent. She says those substances prohibited victims from consenting to the sex acts or recordings. Johnson went on to say the recorded freak-offs were used as an extortion tool by Diddy, proven by emails and messages they recovered from victims. The defendant would record these freak-offs, at least in part, to use them to blackmail. We have an email. A victim says, "You were going to make me. I'm not going to say it on the public record." Or you were going to leak some F off shit. Okay, that's what somebody said. She didn't make it explicitly clear what Diddy wanted the victims to do as means for the recording to be released. Another victim shared via messages. He said he was going to expose me with the sex tape. I was drugged. Johnson says it's interesting that Diddy claims the victims are trying to extort him, but he's threatened them with recordings. He's the only extorter. Okay. Then Homeland Security. Somebody asked me on Instagram Live earlier today, what did I get the information from about him recording everything and watching it on his phone and watching it remotely? This is where I got it from. Okay. An agent who allegedly saw Diddy's sex rooms is describing what they saw in detail. And child, they say the perversion was on Epstein level. The agent who works for Homeland Security helped raid Diddy's home. In a statement to the New York Post, the agent said they saw several sex rooms and found sex tapes that featured days-long orgies. This would explain why law enforcement found so many liquid IVs alongside those baby oil bottles. Yes, y'all, the liquid IVs in order to replenish everybody because they were clearly dehydrated from losing all of their damn fluids. Y'all worried about how many bottles of baby oil there were. There's also liquid IV here, nigga. These people are going through a lot. The agent says there were so many cameras in the room placed in odd spaces that the victims wouldn't have realized they were being recorded. Diddy would reportedly masturbate while his freak-off Olympics were taking place. The agent says Diddy was so addicted that he would even watch the victims remotely from his cell phone when he wasn't in the home and would cast the videos to televisions. There are some stories about them, showing videos in front of people. In my opinion, he's as bad as Jeffrey Epstein, the source stated. These women are young, either barely legal or barely illegal. We have evidence that these women didn't feel like they were free to go, the DHS officer said. And there's video evidence that some of the girls are clearly out of it while these men are having sex with them. So he's basically, and look at him looking like that damn it demon. That's how, you remember he dressed up like the it demon and he looked just like it? That's because that's what he looked like, just black. He's a black it. That's what he is. Looks like that it. This is the demon. He's a demon. He's a demon. Y'all, I'm just saying, like, do y'all hear what these people are saying he did, y'all? Like, this shit is terrible. That's why I said saw. Because it's literally him orchestrating everything and using these people as if they are not human. Of course, y'all know the bodyguards got a lot to say because the bodyguards played a huge part in him getting away with some of this shit. So now they got to come and talk.
Dudes belong in jail based on what they do and how they do it. We know that to be true. And it's just this situation, man, when they get down to all the facts and all what happened, he may belong in jail, bro. And that's not my doing. That's not Cassie doing. That's his doing and his learned behavior from the people that mentored him. You got to realize, man, he learned from Andre Harrell. He learned from Russell Simmons. He learned from Clyde Davis. You understand? When those people are telling you that they were heavy into the drugs, they was heavy into beating women and doing things at that age, at that crazy stage, that's going to make him think that he could get away with the same thing that they was getting away with back then. You understand? The things that he was saying, the touchy-feely between two men and all that stuff like that, man. All that, he learned that from them dudes. When I told y'all the story when me and my man went up to Russell Simmons and he had a house and he had a man in bikini drawers in his bedroom, in his bed.
So then again, ask yourself, why did Russell Simmons run away to the land of the lady boys, Thailand, Bali? I'm just saying, those areas are highly like known for lady boys. Kind of feels like that's why you out there. That's why that's the place that you ran to. I know there's no extradition, but there are other places with no extradition that are not known for the lady boys. And this is not to, because it's not about homosexuality, y'all. That's not what it's about. It's about men that use sex as a weapon, as a power tool. And yes, this part, the childlike part about it. Y'all got to remember Russell Simmons likes them young.
You understand? Bruh, this is that.
Look at the first comment. Kamora
He learned. I'm assuming he learned it from them. Let me put that. And I'm not going to say alleged because I saw that for my own self. My man was with me. Slick was with me. And we saw that for our own self. You understand what I'm saying? So
shit.
These are behaviors and things that with drugs and all the stuff that's going on, pills, drinking, it can make this man into a monster. And that's what it did, bro. It made him into a monster, bro.
I think he was already.
What's happening to him now is one of the greatest tragedies that we're going to ever read about, bro. This is going to be one of the greatest tragedies that Shakespeare couldn't write in Richard. He couldn't write it in Macbeth. He couldn't write this shit in Romeo and Juliet.
See, to me, this is not really what you would consider a tragedy. Tragedies end sadly. This is not ending sadly for people that feel like they needed him to be put behind bars for them to feel safe. And we don't know if this is going to stick because he's still very influential and very rich. But ultimately, what I want everybody to remember is that Diddy been beating people's asses in front of everybody since the 90s, since the early 90s, since college. Diddy has been puffing up his chest and acting a fool since he was a child. That's why his nickname is Puffy. That anger was already there. The anger was already there. And honestly, I feel like that has more to do with his mom, his upbringing. Let's see what his lawyer said.
So we made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions.
I don't want to hear about inhumane housing conditions when he had them people in rooms fucking for days on time. I don't want to hear how him having to eat the same type of fajita for lunch every day is inhumane.
In the special housing unit in the Metropolitan Detention Facility, and I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything's on the government's timetable. Nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial, and I'm going to be pushing for that.
You sound very entitled because he's rich. And I just think that's very funny. And I think that the federale hood is going to get a kick out of this. I can't wait to see how this is going to play out and what's going to be revealed. Because I feel like this is only the tip of the iceberg. There's probably so much worse shit that has happened. And I'm just only, wondering if we're going to see it. But yes, his mama gives madam vibes. Like, Diddy absolutely gives, I grew up in some type of abusive situation with my mama and her boyfriends, and I hate bitches. And now I act out my revenge on my mama by having men just come in and do whatever to these women that I'm in relationships with and shit. So before we get to the Shyne of it all, because I want to get to Shyne next, but this was funny to me. Like, people are always gonna try to make content off of everything. But because that's what we do. But this right here kind of annoyed me because it does lean to exactly what Jamel Hill said. So he was trying to buy NBC. I'm gonna let 50 Cent talk, but basically what's being said here is that because Diddy was now requiring more money than these white boys wanted to give him, they now are going to out him for, his misdeeds so that they don't have to pay him what they owe him. And the whole thing about that is to continue to act as if the misdeeds weren't happening. I don't give a why he was outed for what he was doing. I don't care why. I don't. Because essentially, what's done in the dark will come to light. And he was doing something wrong to a lot of people. And the thing that make me mad a lot of times is that y'all throw race in a lot of this shit. But it really be a lot of black women that end up being harmed in these situations. But you don't care. You only care about somebody being black when it's the black man. But when it's the black women, it was the same thing with R. Kelly. Them black girls got up there and told y'all that what happened with them, and y'all ripped them apart. Y'all called them girls liars, and they was just fast. And the truth of the matter is, grown-ass women had a hard time not doing what Robert Kelly told them to do. So just imagine 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old girls in the presence of what they're viewing as greatness. Even with all of the things that came out about R. Kelly, even with all of the things that have come out about Diddy, there are still people praising him for being a millionaire, for being an artist, for this, for that. There are still people praising them for that. So why do you feel like these women who become victims, some of these men that become victims, won't also have the same mentality that the rest of y'all have, that these men are still great?
You have the experience with major corporations like me, my particular experience with Beam Centauri. It was great in the beginning. It's great for us to work for them. It is not so cool when you start to own things. You see what I'm saying? So I made a lot of money with them too. Like, there's a point, they did a deal that mirrored what Puffy's deal with Diageo was for Ciroc. So he didn't have ownership of that at any point, but he was getting a lot of money, like almost like $60 million a year at one point. So you see him go to daily on is when you see him have some issues. And these people have really strong relationships. Don't think that the civil case doesn't turn into a criminal case faster because he's making them uncomfortable. That's a big part of it.
Hell yeah. So y'all making me uncomfortable, and we know some shit about you because you done invited us to some parties. So now we got dirt on you. And the funny thing about it is, this is the same tactic that Diddy was using. So why should we feel bad that the alcohol boys use the same tactic against him? Sounds like the he's trying to say the people he was in business with, Diageo and all of them, may have, known some federale hood, had some evidence, flip the right rock over, you know what I'm saying, for some people. And that might be the case. That might be the case. And once again, I'm gonna say, so fucking what? So what?
First businesses, it's not governed. They got a discus board that they created, right? If you got two companies that are $3 billion, you have the experience with major corporations like me, my particular experience with Beam Centauri. It was great in the year. And Beam Centauri and Diageo, the distribution level is very hard for you to get things to a point where you can do the numbers, the right numbers. They incentivize the sales force by giving them box bonuses. And then when you sell a product, you get the bonuses off the boxes that's there. But you make that no matter what product you're selling. So if you sell Hennessy or Remy out the gate, they start to put downward pressure on the new companies a year. And Beam Centauri.
Okay. And another thing that what he's saying is very true. It's about how businesses are monopolized. This is how you keep black people out of actually owning anything, right? Because black people don't own anything. And then a lot of times you think this is because they have not tried. But the truth of the matter is, black people have consistently been kept out, right? If I want to start a liquor company and it's worth something, what's going to happen first is a whole bunch of white people are going to come to me asking me if they could buy my shit. Either so that they can shelve it so it's not competition, or so they can steal it and make it their own. If I say no and I keep selling, you know what they're going to do? They're going to make it hard for me to get distribution in certain places. They got friends with this store, friends with this chain store. So they're going to tell that chain store, hey, I don't want you to carry them if you still want to carry us. And our liquor is older and already has a high selling point. So then the pressure is being put on the smaller business that's trying to grow to just go ahead and back out. So yeah, you're right about that. And that happens in every industry. In every industry, once you are trying to get into ownership as an African American, there are people there trying to keep you from getting to the same level as the other ethnicities of people that have been allowed to reach to that level. So please don't get me wrong. I hit 50. He talking sense. But essentially, when you put that in the context of what we are talking about right now, it adds to that mentality that, oh, he was just trying to buy something white people didn't want him to buy. Maybe. But should he have been getting away with all of these things just because he was rich and influential? I don't think so. I like to put myself in people's shoes. And what I do know is I would not be forcing people to have sex against their will for hours at a time. That's not a we fall down moment. That's not something that everybody's going to slip and fall into. Lord, we all fall short, said Akbar V. Girl, I went the... Y'all really like to act like it's just a person being imperfect. That's not what this is. That's people becoming monsters because people around them allow them to, because nobody's checking them. Nobody's really checking them. And then when they get to a certain level of power, they can just be ostracized, right? Like, meaning Diddy gets to a certain level where people don't want to fuck with him, but he's still able to make his money and be Diddy. But that don't mean they want to be standing next to him. Y'all keep talking about Jay-Z. Let me say this before I play this clip, and then we're going to get to Shyne. Y'all keep talking about Jay-Z, and I'm going to tell y'all something. Jay-Z is guilty of some shit, but I don't think Diddy's guilty. I mean, Jay-Z is guilty of what Diddy's guilty of, y'all. I'm trying to get my words out. There is something that makes me feel like, based on what I have heard of Sean Carter's music, what we have seen of Sean Carter's life, Sean Carter do business and then go get on a yacht with his wife somewhere with their children. That's been going on for a while now. Even when they was wearing matching color suits down to the brunches and you know, rubbing elbows with Diddy and all of that. I think that late night partying shit ended years ago for them. So that's why I'm like, everybody thinks that Jay-Z is going to be next. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I'm not too sure. I think that even if there was some videos of Jay-Z doing some shit, there was a point where Jay-Z was able to trump Diddy. Like, Jay-Z's just too smart. He's too smart and too in control, too much of a chess player. He's not going to let you out, like, maneuver him. I just don't believe so, based on what I've seen. So I already feel like at some point a conversation was had and Jay-Z was like, I want anything, and I mean anything. I want anything and everything you have on me. Everything. He probably gave him a list. Anything you have on me and these people right here, I want all of the footage. And I do mean all of the footage, and I want every copy. I want every copy. And if I don't get it, and if I ever find out that it's somewhere else, you're going to have a hard time. Let me tell you something. Jay-Z getting involved with the NFL, that's your government level, believe it or not. That's your corporation level. That's at a government level. That's not just your little spirits and your little alcohol. Oh, no. These are the people that make the alcohol business go round. These are the people that make the entertainment industry go round. The place that Jay-Z has gotten himself into, I do not feel like he's going to be the next to fall the way y'all think. He's been playing smart for too long. And I feel like as somebody that is a huge fan of his music, I listen to what he says. That man has already put his shit in place to be okay. Because if he could have, Diddy would use something to get Jay-Z to help him. When all of this shit happened, Jay-Z was in Japan with Beyonce with his hands in his pockets, seemingly with not a fucking care in the world. Bucket hat on, no problems at all. I bet you any money Jay knew that shit was gonna happen. Like, I'm just saying. He guilty of some shit. But I don't think it's nothing y'all gonna catch him for like this. And that's because he was never as really, like, ever since the 90s has been over, like, Jay-Z has not been as reckless as Diddy. Diddy has been reckless to the point that there's so much evidence of this nigga being weird. I don't even know why y'all still arguing with us about any of this.
I mean, his attorney is saying he's going to fight the good fight. We're not giving up, but I don't see this going well for Diddy whatsoever.
Yeah, me neither. I just really can't wrap my mind around someone having so much to lose and moving the way he was moving. It just makes me think that man doesn't have not one single solitary friend around him. Because if you worth $1 billion, you got kids, you got all these employees, all you need is one person that cares about you. All it takes is one person to say, hell no, get these guns away from him. No, you're not getting no prostitutes. You're getting a girlfriend. Actually, you need a wife. But somebody should have been there to tell Sean Combs to grow up. Or maybe he didn't listen because he's too far gone off drugs, alcohol, and booty.
Well,
all types of booty.
Too far gone, going to sit down now.
Booty.
Variety of booty. Yeah, but
women
like
booty,
said,
men booty.
And it has nothing to do with
other booty. In the indictment, it says women and others. 72 gender identities. Did he seem like he wanted to try every flavor?
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Did that come from a source too?
No, that was
you said they got it from the document. Look at you reading documents. Look at you with sources. I like the energy up here this morning.
Yeah, but I would say this. It has nothing to do with the money. It's just you just don't have a friend.
The booty?
Why are you stuck on his booty?
Because this man seems like an addict, a sex addict, a drug addict, a power addict.
Like it, yes.
And being in that cell is going to be the first time and probably forever that he's forced to sit still and get sober. And reality is going to hit him hard. Whatever he's been running from, he cannot run no more.
I mean, his attorney is saying he's going to fight the good fight. We're not giving up, but I don't see this going well for Diddy whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think anybody, y'all, I don't think Diddy's been listening to anybody any of this time. So I don't know why. This is not about not having good friends around you. I really feel like people used to tell Diddy to stop years ago. I think Andre Harrell and all of them who was, teaching him was still like, hey, nigga, there's a certain amount of finesse that you need to have in this life. You are not finessing, Diddy. Diddy decided to build, that's why it's a RICO charge, y'all. Because instead of being a finesser in this situation, he decided to big bad wolf it. I'm gonna walk around with security. I'm a punk, y'all. I got tapes on everybody. The way he would like physically push himself on people, all of that flirting that he would do with other rappers. We got so many videos and interviews of him talking to other grown ass men in this very creepy, predatory way. I am telling y'all, that nigga never cared. And him manifesting the life that he did is really the only thing that made it so that he would never stop. There was no friends, there was no mama, there was no baby mama, there was no baby girl, Stevie J. Nobody was gonna be able to tell Diddy to stop. That's just what it is, y'all.
When I was a 18-year-old kid, just wanting to do.
That's what Belizean people really do be looking like New Orleans people. Y'all know we have a connection, right? Like the people from Belize and New Orleans have a genetic connection for some reason. I don't know. They came here. It's a lot of them that look like us and we look like them.
Nothing other than make my mother proud and make Belize proud and do what all of us want to do. Be recognized for our talent and take over the world. I was defending him and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me. And he contributed, he pretty much sent me to prison. So that is the context by which you must always describe that relationship. Yes, I forgave, I moved on, but let us not pretend as if I was in Miami for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Well, I spent a birthday with him once.
I
saw a birthday cake.
I went again to do a charity event for
he started talking. It was like there was a birthday cake. There may not have been a turkey. It may not have been Christmas dinner. It was a birthday dinner though, nigga.
Impoverished youth in London. So let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life and who I forgave and who I moved on, and for the better interest of Belize, because he was in a position at that time to give scholarships and to maybe invest. I would not deny attempting to bring the investment to Belize and to bring the contributions to education to Belize, but don't distort it as if, you know, he and I were BALI. This is someone that destroyed my life, but do I take any joy or any satisfaction with what he is going through? Absolutely not. I am different.
And that's the part that I disagree with. There should be satisfaction in him being brought to justice because he did destroy your life for a minute. You got it back, but he did destroy your life and many other people. It's very bothersome that y'all want to take this Martin Luther King turn the other cheek, you know, don't wish for the, you know, downfall of my enemy bullshit. Like I don't abide. I don't abide by that, y'all. And it's not that I feel like you should, and I'm not even a vengeful person. Like I don't feel like any one person should be on a, you know, a path of vengeance. In due time, life always finds a way. And this is just you know, this is just a example of that. But I feel like to always have this idea that him finally being brought to justice is a misfortune, like that's what I have a problem with.
Than maybe other people. No one needs to fail for me to succeed. No one needs to suffer for me.
In your at the height of your professional relationship, or thereafter through the reconciliation, when he was an instrumental part of promoting you through Revolt Media, were you aware of these freak off events, and were you aware of them? Did you have any participation in them?
Oh my goodness, Jules Vasquez.
Why are you laughing?
Jules Vasquez.
Were you aware of them?
Jules Vasquez.
Were you aware of the freak offs?
So I had nothing to do with Sean Combs' personal life, no interaction. That level, everything was strictly on a professional level.
I don't believe that. I think Shyne is a beautiful man. I think he means well. I'm glad that he did not turn down Diddy's aid when he could receive it. Please take this nigga's money and use it for good. Absolutely. I have no qualms about that. But I have to wonder, if there was no personal relationship, why did you take the fall? If it was all professional and business, why did you take the fall? Because you took the fall. It was other people saying that Shyne didn't do it. Shyne let that shit happen. And I have to wonder why. Yeah, Shyne's lying. And we're going to let him. He's the prime minister of Belize. And we just going to hope he's healed. Okay? Did y'all see
Hey, Cassie.
the paparazzi chasing Cassie down the street? Y'all won't even let that girl go get something to eat. All in her car and shit. The lady don't look, just running. Just running. All right, I see y'all. Can y'all leave us alone, please? Look. So glad everything got a key card in order to get inside. We need security for Cassie. Y'all please leave Cassie alone. Like, just leave the lady alone. Please let the lady be at peace in her life, because I'm sure she's going to have to go to court at some point. Yeah, y'all, Cassie going to have to go down to the courthouse, okay? So y'all remember Tiffany Red, one of Cassie's friends, allegedly. She said, "Today I feel a little safer knowing Sean Combs is behind bars. I'm grateful to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and Homeland Security for stepping in and showing Mr. Combs and the music industry, which enabled him, that they're not above the law. This past year has been incredibly stressful and terrifying at times, but I am grateful for the opportunity to free myself from all these dark experiences. While co-creating Cassie's sophomore album, I was degraded by Sean Combs, deceived by him, his team, and the record labels about the music being released. I was exposed to Diddy's abuse of Cassie and others in her circle, and I unknowingly consumed something laced without my consent at his Homely Hills home studio while writing for Cassie back in 2017. I'll never forget screaming, "What's in this?" I knew instantly after smoking the joint that something was wrong. I got away that night by the grace of God, but I am haunted by the things I can't remember about that evening. No one should have to endure that kind of trauma to pursue success in the music industry. We all deserve better. Tiffany Red. I agree. And y'all, this is another, when y'all ask how am I able to see something as if I was there? I've been reading and the picture just forms in my mind, girl. Because I can see her being in the studio working and somebody coming in with water or having water already there. And then, you know what I'm saying? Her feeling like she's safe to smoke a joint with you because she didn't smoke the joint with you before and it was okay. In the studio, that's what y'all do. You smoke weed, you write music, you drink, you vibe. And then all of a sudden, you wake up and you don't know where you are, how you got there, who's on top of you. And can y'all imagine him doing that to get even with women who spoke up? Can you imagine him disrespecting you as a woman that has self-respect and you check him and the next thing you know, you wake up with some nigga that look like one of them square-head men on top of you? Y'all, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let me tell y'all something. There was a time in Mary's life where Mary was on drugs and alcohol so bad we couldn't even get a performance from her without her fucking up the performance. Like there was like a little time in the 90s where Mary was always on stage fucked up. And then y'all remember she stopped fucking with Diddy for a long time. No more drama days. I ain't fucking with Diddy no more. And then eventually they came back and was cool again. I'm telling y'all, all of these people are either bystanders, victims, or accomplices. And I feel like Mary got a fucking story to tell. I feel like Mary got a story to tell. I really do.